there are 102 separate wounds on the body, which are believed to have been caused by a knife. This was a violent, frenzied attack on a vulnerable young man. It also asked people who live in the vicinity of Castle Park to check their gardens to see if any knife has been disregarded there. If anyone has any information, then I urge them to contact the police.
Colchester, UK. Roman walls, busy high streets, students and families. Open green parks where people cut through at night. Among the 150,000 residents is James, Jim Atfield, 33, a father of 5. 4 years earlier, he suffered a tragic accident when a car hit him. He spent 8 weeks in a coma. He woke with a brain injury, mobility issues, memory loss. He didn't even remember his own children. But by 2014, he was fighting back. Semi-supported housing, karaoke nights, small victories, and an emotional reunion with his kids planned with his ex, Cheryl, just days away. He'll never make that reunion. Friday, 28th of March, 2014. Jim has a few drinks at the River Lodge pub. CCTV shows him at the bar, alone, relaxed. He leaves before 1 a.m, taking the familiar cut through Castle Park. A passerby finds him lying on the grass. "You alright, mate?" Jim slurs that he's fine, just sobering up. Cigarette in hand, the man calls back, "Be careful, yeah?" and wanders off. At 5:45 a.m, a resident stumbles on a horror scene. Jim is covered in blood, barely alive. Paramedics fight for 45 minutes. He's pronounced dead on arrival. An officer later says, at first he couldn't even tell Jim's hair or skin colour. There was only red.
There are 102 separate wounds on the body, which are believed to have been caused by a knife. This was a violent, frenzied attack on a vulnerable young man. It also asked people who live in the vicinity of Castle Park to check their gardens to see if any knife has been disregarded there. If anyone has any information, then I urge them to contact the police.
The autopsy revealed 102 stab wounds. His head, his hands and arms are shredded with defensive injuries. There's a bloody shoe print a metre away and more prints leading out of the park. The window of attack sits between 1 a.m. and 5:45 a.m. in a pitch black park ringed by trees, a hunter's playground. Police pull CCTV. Nothing obvious. No one tailing Jim. No bar argument. No motive. No suspect. They release stills from the camera near a park entrance. 23 people seen passing between late evening and 4:20 a.m. and beg them all to come forward. The city goes on edge. Who butchers a stranger like this, and why? 3 months later, Colchester will get an answer it doesn't want. Tuesday, 17th of June, 2014, 10:30 a.m. Nahid Al-Manaya, 31, from Saudi Arabia, is a PhD student at the University of Essex, studying English, due to graduate in August. She often walks the Salary Brook Trail, a tree-lined shortcut many students use. Her brother usually walks with her, but on Tuesdays he starts earlier. Today, she was alone. At 10:40 a.m, 2 locals searching for a missing cat find her on the path.
At 10:40am, we received calls from members of the public to say that Naheed's body had been discovered very close to where we are now, here on the Salary Brook Trail. I'd ask anybody who was in the area of Hunswick Road at 10:20am or thereabouts to come forward and speak to us. We know from the CCTV footage there that there were people in that area in that time, and they are yet to come forwards to us.
The attack is savage. 16 stab wounds, major blows to the head. Like Jim, stab wounds to her eyes. She's small, barely 5 foot tall, overpowered in seconds. There's no theft, no sexual assault, no defensive path to safety, just brutality in the open, in daylight. Police lock down the area. The scenes echo Castle Park. Frenzied stabbing, eyes targeted, open public space, no weapon, minimal trace. They won't yet say the words, linked, but the parallels are undeniable. This time, there are witnesses. Around 10:56am, people see a young man running from the area. The description follows. White male, late teens to mid-20s, dark mop-like hair, average build, a long-sleeved top with hood, dark trousers. A composite picture goes out. Police canvass estates, knock on nearly 300 doors, draft in officers from 6 forces. Crime Stoppers post a £20,000 reward. Fear spikes. Personal alarms are handed out by the thousand. The university mourns. The community whispers the words, serial killer. For months, the case grinds. 900 plus interviews, searches of the rivers and ravines. But the scenes are frustratingly clean, as if the attacker wore gloves, planned exits, and worked in blind spots. The randomness terrifies people. The method hints at practice. Some in the community point to hate crime. Naheed wore traditional Islamic clothing. Others insist it's opportunistic. Wrong place, wrong time, same offender. Police stay open-minded, but run the cases as parallel tracks, because if they're linked, Colchester has a repeat killer. Tuesday, the 26th of May, 2015, 10:30am. Nearly a year since Naheed's murder, a dog walker, Michelle, crosses a small footbridge on the Salary Brook Trail, the exact route where Naheed died. A teenage boy stands alone, scanning, hands gloved, despite the heat. He locks eyes with her. He doesn't smile. He watches. Michelle turns back. She finds another woman on the trail. They return together. He's no longer on the bridge. He's crouched under a tree, peering. Something in her gut screams danger. She calls 999. I could be wrong, but his jacket looks like the one from the paper. And this is the same trail. PC Loomis arrives within minutes. The boy says he's out walking to clear his head. The officer notes the gloves, the thick jacket, asks if he has anything he shouldn't. The boy says yes. He has a large flip knife. They arrest him. His name? James Fairweather. 2 weeks after Naheed's killing, police had interviewed this boy and moved on. Now, he's about to talk, and what he says is shocking.
Some of the voices were talking to me, you need to make a sacrifice or we're going to come and get you, you need to do it. And I saw him, it was laying on the grass, like that, it was like that, just fast asleep, where he was drunk. Then he goes, he's the one, do it. So I went up to him, can I stand up? No.
Yes.
Went up to him, stood over like that, not helping that. So I stabbed him first there, and I've done it a few times. While I was doing that, my voices were laughing louder and louder.
In interview, James is flat, calm. He says he hears voices. He says the devil sent him out to make a sacrifice. He describes sneaking out of a window on 28th of March 2014 with a large knife and gloves, walking a mile to Castle Park and finding Jim asleep on the grass. He stands over him. He's the one. Do it. Do it. He stabs down into the torso again and again. He hears gurgling, runs, washes the blade, bags the clothes, and leaves them for collection. He tells him about Naheed. He turns her around on the path, He says she'd have been safe if she wasn't alone, knowing a killer was out there. On his phone, police find an obsession with serial killers. He's read cases of offenders who claim diminished responsibility. He's been researching outcomes. He talks about the time between the murders, violent fantasies, hardcore pornography, video games, daily urges to kill again. He says he only paused because the police presence was heavy, not because he wanted to stop. He says he feels a bit sad, but the victims committed sins, and what he did was right. He wanted to go on. He says if not caught, he'd have taken 15 more lives. Because of his age, James is initially anonymous, housed in a secure hospital for assessments. His team pushes diminished responsibility, psychosis, autism, isolation, paranoia. 4 psychiatrists agree he's on the autistic spectrum, but prosecution experts find no convincing evidence of psychosis. One psychiatrist calls the voices inconsistent and cinematic, sometimes inside, sometimes outside, details changing. The interview tapes show clear memory, planning and control. Gloves, dumped clothing, weapon handling, targeting eyes, returning to hunt in the same place. The judge is firm. Autism is not violence. Many people have it. It is not a pathway to sadism. The murders were sadistic and horrific. The eye targeting a signature. The jury returns unanimous guilty on 2 counts of murder in April 2016. He's then named to the public. He's sentenced to 2 life terms with a minimum of 27 years. If ever released, he'll be on licence for life. His mother weeps. Jim's mother says they can never forgive.
On March 29th, 2014, our lives were changed forever when my kind and brave son Jim was brutally killed. He had been through so much already, having fought hard to overcome the effects of brain damage suffered when he was struck by a car. He didn't deserve to die.
The community thanks Michelle, the dog walker whose instinct likely saved the next victim, possibly herself. Colchester would never be quite the same again. 2 lives, a father rebuilding after tragedy, and a young student chasing her future, ending in senseless brutality that stunned the community. James Attfield has survived the unthinkable once before, only to be taken when he was finally finding his way back. Nahid Al-Manaya had crossed an ocean to learn, her promise extinguished on a quiet path in broad daylight. For the officers who worked the case, those images would never fade. The park, the trail, the patterns of violence that spoke of control rather than chaos. Fairweather's crimes were committed by a boy barely old enough to leave school, yet marked by the deliberate precision of someone far older. It was a chilling glimpse into what could have become a long and devastating series of killings. One that ended only because a stranger trusted her instinct to speak up. Today, the story of Colchester's double murders stands as a haunting reminder that darkness can hide behind the most ordinary faces, and that sometimes what saves lives is not strength or strategy, but a single moment of awareness and the courage to act on it.